Hello, Sharif here, and we're ready to have our next episode of the View Inside the Chrysalis. How we're working on our journey toward a whole new reality, a new way of being human on this planet. Um, I guess I should say being human with this planet as opposed to on it. Um, a lot of us act like the Earth is just a big ball of dirt, and we're along for the ride. And when the ride gets bumpy, we'll leave and go to some other planet. Um, those who think that have a rude awakening. And for those of us who are already awake and looking for options, I think that this is the place. It's the place to look for those options, and also the place to explore what the options may be. Um, I'll say this and then we'll start our meditation. Um, for those of you who saw the movie Deep Impact, that's there's a whole bunch of asteroid movies coming out. The asteroid's going to hit the Earth, and Bruce Willis is going to save us. Not that one. Deep Impact was a fairly thoughtful one. Um, But what do people do when they know that the Earth is going to be struck by an asteroid, and this could be a killer asteroid? Um, what do you do when you've got 18 months to prepare? Well, you wait 17 months and 3 weeks and then run around in the last few hours like a chicken with your head cut off. Okay. Remember the scene of the 20-mile traffic jam? Everybody had 18 months, and everybody decides to get on the road in the last 10 minutes. Um, most of those people died, but they didn't die from the asteroid. They died from their consciousness. I'm hoping that we have a deeper consciousness than that. And I'll talk more about that at the end of our session today. As for right now, let us go ahead and start our 3 minute meditation. I'm going to, as I've done before, say things as they come to me. This is not a guided meditation. I don't have a script or anything like that. But as energy is coming to me, I may say something. Um, and let's get started. If you feel comfortable, close your eyes, and you should feel comfortable in your own space. The key to meditation is your awareness, and the key to your awareness is your breath. So let's take a really deep breath together, and then let it out. One more deep breath in. Let it out with a sigh. When your attention wanders, bring it back to your breath. And prepare to come back to your center. And as you are ready, you can open your eyes and come back to our gathering here. So I began with that image from the movie Deep Impact. And if you've not seen the movie, you should see it. If you have seen the movie, you should see it again. It's actually a pretty good movie. Said Morgan Freeman made a very credible president. And that scene of the 20-mile traffic jam, it's not CG. There's a brand new highway opening in Maryland, and they hadn't opened this a week before they were going to open it. And the movie crew said, "Hey, can we film on the highway?" I said, "Well, there's no traffic on it." I just told everybody in the region, if you want to be an extra in a movie, load your vehicle with as much stuff as you can and drive it onto the highway and sit there for 4 or 5 hours, and you'll be in the movie. So that would have been fun. If I had been in the region, I would have done something like that. And try your best not to wave when the helicopter goes over. But the reality is not that. Is that people really do wait till the last minute. People really do take easy roads, even though they don't lead to where you want to go, as opposed to the hard road, which goes where you want to go, but isn't nearly as much fun. So our challenge is don't do the easy no, definitely do the easy stuff, but don't think that you're doing anything when you're doing the easy stuff. The harder stuff, the more difficult work is the part that's going to be fruitful for you. It's the part that's going to actually yield the results that you want. So today we're going to talk about the second part of how do we actually get to what I'm calling the nation of Gaia? How do we stop doing the partial stuff? Stop doing the easy stuff. Definitely stop trying to get someone else to take these steps. Write your congressman. Your congressman doesn't give a crap. If they did, we'd live in a completely different world. Sign this petition. Well, that's a use of ink. So we need to start thinking about what are the deeper things that we need to be focusing in on. I want us to start today with actually a recap of what we talked about in our last session. What in the book, What the Baby Looks Like, I'm calling the 5 Beyonds. We need to get beyond geography. We need to stop thinking about a nation controlling a particular piece of dirt and start thinking about all of us, all human beings and all other living beings as part of the same nation, the nation of the earth, the nation of Gaia. We need to start thinking beyond exclusivity of saying, I'm me because I'm not you. We need to start thinking about all of us together. What is a solution that works for all of us? If you can't think of a solution that works for all of us, it's simply because you're not thinking deep enough. Now, everybody who is proposing a solution that only works for their ethnic group, their racial group, their nation, their perspective, their political leaning, you you are only contributing to the problem, to another flavor of the problem, another um, brand of the problem. What you need to do is start thinking about how do we focus this as a whole. Another one of the five beyonds is beyond violence. Um, we don't have the luxury of violence. When we look at the amount of money that we spend protecting ourselves, separating ourselves from each other, which gets back to the exclusivity, we start seeing that the world it needs to be in a very, very different place. And we need to be the ones that take the lead on that. I may have problems with that guy over there. Actually, it's these guys over here. Um, um, yeah, I may have problems with someone, but do those problems mean I deny myself? I deny all of us the the um, the future where all of us can live. I thought about a situation that I faced now a year or so ago in my neighborhood here, um, and a uh, a person walked up to me. This white female, 50s or 60s, or maybe older. It's kind of hard to tell. Um, the street person look in her eye. She walks up to me and she said, I thought she was in some kind of trouble or needed directions or something or other. She walks up to me and she says, "You're a nigger, aren't you?" And she really, it was so surprising that she caught me off guard. I mean, I didn't know how to respond. It's like, did she say what I thought she said? And she goes on and she says, "You're dirty. You're dirty. You're a dirty nigger," you know. But she's saying it as though she's checking with me to find out if this is the right definition to use. Okay. Um, and again, I they're not there's not very many things that catch me speechless, but I was speechless. And my first thought was, if she said this to the wrong person, she could be getting her clock cleaned right now. And there's a public housing facility for disabled people that was like a block or so away. And I was trying to figure out, was she from there? In which case, she might be in some kind of a crisis, and maybe there's somebody there can help her. And she says this a couple more times. She's not threatening in any way. She's just kind of like, you know, let's get this thing clear here. And I looked further down the street, and there was an African American woman that she had just encountered, and this woman is on her phone. And I'm walking in that direction, so I walked toward her, and the woman said something like, "Did she say to you what she said to me?" And we both laughed. We both like smiled, and she said, "I'm on the phone now. I'm trying to get her some help." Now, I want you to look at this scene. she's trying to get something started with a Black person, and the Black people she's trying to get something started with are out there to help her. Now, I could have gotten stuck right there in the first word she said, and let me get you straight. Da, 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 da. I could have gotten very belligerent, um, and but because I've arrived at a place of peace inside of me, I didn't need to do that with her. Now, because of this other African American woman whom I'd never seen before, had arrived at a place of peace inside of her, she didn't have to do that anymore. And so our challenge is, as you've heard me say a million times, it all comes back to consciousness. It all comes back to once you understand where you are and who you are, you then can be helpful to everybody around you, including the people who may not be acting like they want your help. Okay, I got two more beyonds to get to here. Then we're going to get started. Sure. Um, so we've been through beyond geography, beyond exclusivity, beyond violence, and the next one is beyond religiosity. Um, as you know, I think of myself as a deeply spiritual person. I want to be a deeply spiritual person. I intend to be a deeply spiritual person, but none of that has anything to do with religiosity, with how you choose to be a religious person in the world. There's some people who follow the Jesus path. That's fine with me. There's some people who follow the Buddha path. That's fine with me. There's some folks that follow the Islamic path. That's fine with me. It's all fine with me. Okay. Um, there's some that mix the paths together. That's fine with me. So once the nation of Gaia can practice everything and not get hung up in the contradictions, then we can start seeing how human beings can actually behave on the planet. And the last of the five beyonds is beyond profit, to start the process of recognizing how we get goods and services to our family is less important than how we choose to live on the planet, and how many dollar signs we've got in our bank account is a lot less important than how happy all of us are on our planet. So our challenge is how do we face our future, and how do we face that future together? I am not seeing any comments in the past couple of days in the comments section here. As I said, it's hard for me to read them unless I put my glasses on. But I don't have to put my glasses on for not seeing anything. So I just want to raise two more points, and that's basically what I've got time for here. Number one is I've been talking about what comes next as a metamorphosis. I'm not the only one doing that. There are a number of other people who are talking about we are about to go through a metamorphic change. I believe that, and I want us. When I talk about words like transformation and metamorphosis, I just want us to realize that this is really big. This is bigger than whether or not you vote Democratic or Republican or Green or Independent or anything else. It's bigger than whatever legislation is being promoted or opposed. It's bigger than all of the subparts of this. The question is, how are we going to be human on this planet? What does that mean? What does it mean for us to say, you know, we are moving into a future? Been looking at a number of YouTube videos that are talking about the future. It's really interesting. The future lies in outer space, and the person who is handing our future to us is Elon Musk. And we all just have to get in line because that's the only future that's being promoted. Um, um, that's not the future. That's not the future that I intend. That's not the future that's even remotely possible, regardless of how much money Mr. Musk throws at it. For those of you who took the time to look at the 1,000-year plan that I put up, the idea of a future that means human beings move off of the earth is a way to say it's okay to finish trashing the earth because we're all going to be on Mars. Whether or not we manage to get a small handful of human beings up on the red planet, alive long enough for them to come back and say, oh, yes, we just conquered Mars. That's actually the language that these folks are using. We're going to conquer Mars. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to the 8 or 9 billion human beings that are down here making a life. Metamorphosis means, meta means a big change. This is like super uber. And morphosis, morpho is form. This means a big change in form. What is the nature of the form that has to change? It's really simple. Look at where we are, look at where we want to be, and what do we need to do to get there? Butterflies generate wings. And it's not just because the butterflies think wings are really cool. It's because the butterfly has a purpose and a plan. It has to get from Portland, Oregon, and wherever else, we're the only people that have butterflies. Wherever the butterfly is, it's got to get south. It's got to get to the point where it can mate wherever its mating grounds are. If it's a monarch butterfly, that's Michoacan, Mexico. And I've been there during butterfly season, and words can't describe it. And so if you are a caterpillar and your imperative is that you're eating somebody's garden here in Portland and you've got to get down to Mexico, you've got to stop. You got to generate some wings. You got to dump everything you don't need, and that includes a digestive tract. And you better grow whatever it is that you need. That includes reproductive organs, and get your butt down to Mexico. We human beings don't have to get to Mexico. That's actually not true. I like hanging out in Mexico, but um, no, that's not our imperative. Our imperative is to stop trashing the earth and actually trashing the moon and Mars. We're trashing everything. So we need to stop doing that. We need to start treating every aspect of our humanity first and every aspect of all other living beings second. We need to start treating all of us as though we're in the same family. That means however we do government, it's got to go down. However we do security, it's got to go. Our security right now depends on me separating from you. We got to stop doing that. Our security has to be all of us together are on the same page. How do we do that? Well, we do that by changing our consciousness. Um, we do that by sitting with each other in consciousness, not in not in I want to debate this bill with you, or I am going to deny. I'm going to say these people can talk about their heritage, but these people over here can't talk about their heritage. Once we get to a point where we start recognizing how much we've got together, how much we get to focus on together, we get to start seeing some things in a really, really different way. Anyone who's articulating anything less than that to you will start articulating to them. I think that we can all be one nation. I think we can all act like one nation, and I think that that's the path of our humanity. What do you think about that? How do you think that we can all come together? Would you like to meditate with me? Would you like to have a group of people who are not going to focus on our problems, but focus on our solutions? And the first thing we're going to do is meditate together. That would be really, really interesting, wouldn't it? I've done meditations, I've done group gatherings across our divides. And people, regardless of the divide, have felt strengthened by that. I felt, that this is really good. We want to continue doing this. We were doing the Commons cafes all around the country and doing really large ones. The smaller cafes were like 40, 50, 60 people. That's small. The larger ones were 200, 300, 500, 700 people. And everyone from all walks of life saying, I don't agree with the people sitting at my table, but I'm really happy we're all sitting at the same table. How we do that now, okay, this was 20, 30 years ago. The challenges we have right now are much more difficult. We've got lots and lots of people working out their mental illness in a public setting, working out their mental illness by taking a rifle down to the mall and start blowing people away. We have to have a way of responding to that, of dealing with that. If we don't have a way of dealing with that, we are going to be have a problem. Okay, so I'm going to stop this part of the conversation. I want to spend 5 minutes or so talking about where this live stream is going to go. And if you want to leave because we're done talking about the nation of Gaia for today. Bye. If you want to stick around for, I think, 5 more minutes, I will finish talking about the future of the view from inside the chrysalis. From what I can see, the numbers that I'm seeing, this is not growing. The last time I checked the numbers, we had just the first one of these that I did. We finally got up to 100, over 100 views. That means it had 101 views. Well, none of the search engines pay attention to anything that doesn't have at least 50 live viewers. Our live viewers, the most I've ever had was 8. So I think it's safe to say that on a kind of a global level, this is not being supported. I'm noticing that our more active participants in the live stream is they are not from the United States, from Quebec, from France, from Poland, from Germany, from Argentina. And so one of the things that can happen in the very near future, when I get to the end of this month, end of May, say, okay, that was an interesting experiment. We're done. And I go and do something different. Still in the vein of creating a world that works for all living beings. Or I purposely aim this away from America. If America is not supporting it, to say, okay, let's talk about how do we create a Europe that works for all? How do we create a South America that works for all? How do we create an Africa that works for all? If that's what you want to see, send me a note, either through the live stream itself or a note to an email. If you want to, and I noticed that because none of the recordings are over the 100 threshold, except the first one, we are not spreading the word. We are not saying, hey, this live stream that you need to check out because it's all about blah, 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 blah. And because of that, the numbers stay the same. Which is more energy toward ending this in the end of the month. Now, it could be, this is I'm looking at all of the possibilities. It could be that either the stream is too frequent or not frequent enough, that you have an issue regarding the content, that you're not talking about, but there's something going on or going wrong with that for you, and you want to, you'd like to see something else. Well, gee, let me know. Not a mind reader, so I would appreciate hearing from you if you've got something to say. Okay, that's it. So I'm exploring, we're at the Ides of May right now. Beware the Ides of May, or something like that. And I will go at least to the end of May, which means I got a couple more weeks here. And we'll see where we go. Um, I enjoy doing this. It's really interesting. Most of you know, those of you who know me know I am not a morning person. Getting out of the bed early in the morning is interesting. So I thank you for getting me out of the bed, and we can look at doing this in another format or in another way. May all beings be well. May all beings be secure. May all beings be happy. Thanks a lot, and I will see you on Friday.